Welcome back to another episode of Warframe F to S, where we take a look at Warframe's worst weapons and turn them into endgame viable monsters. And on today's video, we're going to be looking at another one of Warframe's starter weapons, the Mark I Furax, the first Power Fist-based weapon a player could get their hands on. The Mark I Furax are heavy hitting with decent critical numbers, making them a pretty good platform for single target damage while building up combo due to their average and pretty okay attack speed. But let's take a deeper look into these stats since they will determine how we build this weapon. The Mark I Furax has a total of 90 damage coming from primarily impact damage, and a 1x attack speed, a critical chance of 20%, and a critical multiplier of 2. And lastly, for the status chance, it has 10%, making it one of the worst stats to build on for this weapon in this situation. This is going to be considerably less than the normal Furax, where the damage is 45 less and 5% decrease in critical chance. But luckily, these stats are pretty workable and make these fists really strong. And the decent critical chance and multiplier is what we're going to be using to take these fists to high level enemies. So the build for this is going to be a combo based with critical chance and attack speed. The mods we're going to be using today are Organ Shatter, Galvanized Steel, Blood Rush, and Gladiator's Might. And these are going to make up our core mods, with Fury and Prime Pressure Point to give us the DPS to kill armored enemies, and Seismic Palm, which is my favorite stance for this weapon, and it leads to decent combos that don't interrupt the flow of attacks as much, so that's what I'll be using here. I'm also going to be using Conditions Perfect for its Tenno and a little bit of status chance, but I would highly recommend Dreamer's Wrath for the heavy attack critical damage. Sadly, it's a mod I currently don't have, but to make this build that much better, I would totally recommend putting that in. The last two mods are 100% preference based, and I'm just going to use Volcanic Edge for a bit more damage and status, but that could totally be swapped out for something like Amalgam Body Count, and I'm also going to be using Drifting Contact for its combo duration, so we could keep up to around 12 times damage multiplier for a lot longer. Lastly, I'm going to be using Melee Animosity to do big damage on heavy Tenno hits, and this will completely decimate any enemy in my path. So, now we get to talk about the frame. Yes, there is a frame that I think should be played with this build, or any melee build in that matter, but it's going to be Kullervo. And we'll only be utilizing two of his abilities to show off the damage of the Furax. For those of you who don't know, Kullervo's Wrathful Advance and Collective Curse are going to be the main components of this. Wrathful Advance is going to charge a heavy attack and teleport us within striking distance of the enemy, while his Rage temporarily increases melee critical chance, and with our build, it's going to boost it as high as 340%. Collective Curse is going to bind all of our enemies together, making any single enemy we hit that is bound able to transfer 84% of that damage onto the other enemies. These two abilities with a high combo chance is able to take out large groups of enemies. So the way we play this build is building up as much combo as we can. That can be done from either our abilities, because Kullervo has several that could build up combo, or just attacking regular enemies with your melee attacks. After this, we're going to use Collective Curse and then Wrathful Advance in that order to completely wipe all the enemies. This works incredibly well on unarmored enemies like the Corpus or Infested, but once we're in Steel Path, armor stacking from Grineer or Skuldra units are going to be really hard, which means we are going to need to armor strip them to do any amount of decent damage. This I usually use with Unaru because the Corrosive Strip is really nice on that first ability, but you could use any kind of Corrosive Strip you like, that being from a primer or other abilities that you could subsume onto your Warframe. All this is completely optional, of course, so I do recommend you playing around with the build yourself if you have any other ideas. The only thing I have to say is because they are a fist-based weapon, you do have to get pretty close into combat with enemies, making it kind of hard to keep up your shield and health, so make sure you watch out for that. But anyways, we made the Mark I Furax into the ultimate starter fister, and that's something I'm pretty proud of. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like and subscribe for more content, and let me know what you want to see down in the comments. I do plan on making some slightly stronger weapons, so we could test out some nicer builds. And if you have any other ideas on what weapons we can pick, don't be afraid to put those down in the comments. I would love to hear your opinions. I also want to try getting into some other games other than Warframe, even though that's what's doing pretty well on my channel, because I do want to test the waters a little bit. So if you're into that, stick around and let me know what you would like to see in the future. But other than that, I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. See ya.